Hello from Germany, everyone. Just want to give a quick presentation on my final project for ETR 531, which was a program evaluation on my company's learning management system. This kind of analysis is pretty neat. I chose to do it because I'm applying for a position that will be the manager for the learning management system for the company, and I thought that this project would be really applicable, which it was, and it's helped me gain a lot of traction in getting that role. So it has a lot of real life application, and I was excited to do it. I'm really engaged with the project, and so I'm happy to tell you a little bit more about it. And so to give a little background, my company is a medical manufacturing company, which means it's highly regulated by both the FDA and by the German equivalent. So our headquarters are in Munich, Germany, and that's the reason for why I am here right now for a week working. And so the learning management system plays a really important role in tracking quality management data. And so I'll kind of briefly discuss that in a second, but just to give some more background on the structure of the learning management system, there's never been anybody dedicated to running the learning management system, and so we actually have two. So we have an internal one and we have a separate corporate like customer one. And so it's really inefficient, and since there's never been one person to manage either system, data is kind of tossed around everywhere, and it's kind of the wild west. And so they finally realized that they needed a dedicated person to run these systems, and also they want somebody to eventually evaluate if these two systems are actually fulfilling the needs of the company anymore. And so, for example, the internal system is about 6 years in need of an update, and so it's only compatible with like Internet Explorer, I think 7.9 and below. So it's pretty sad, and that's why I take a lot of pride in this project, because this is pretty much what I'm going to do if I move into this position. And so I've already partially started transitioning to it, which is pretty neat. And for the time being, until it becomes official, I'll be working 2 jobs, which is really fun. So back to the regulated aspect of it. The reason the evaluation is needed, so not strictly because it is just messy, which it really is, and that's a huge reason, but the ultimate reason is because if something is wrong with the company and the FDA or the German equivalent needs to pull any data and it's not accurate, then they can completely shut us down. And so, as you can tell, like, the integrity of this data that resides on these 2 different systems is really important to the actual like survival of the company. And so it's really cool that they finally realized that, hey, we should probably have somebody that knows what they're doing run these things, and hopefully I can fill that role and learn to know what I'm doing in the process. But so it's an important role, and this evaluation is really essential to the company. So it's real rewarding to actually run this analysis, and I think it's like that real world application to it is just completely outstanding. So based off of the evaluation need, I apologize that this keeps running. Sorry about that. So basically, the logic model behind this is just to completely anticipate and just identify exactly what the needs are for the company, because that's one thing that isn't really defined right now. And so based off of that, there's 3 main elements that have influence with the learning management system, and that's mostly comprised of the staff. And so from there, I would work with the director, different trainers, and support managers in order to collect this needs analysis information. And then from that aspect of it, once we kind of learn those questions, then we'll create the activities part of it, where we'll create a process to enter information and kind of just wrangle things to a way that they're really needed. And so from there, we expect to get those outputs and outcomes, which obviously lead to the overall impact of uh, selecting a new learning management system, or just making the current ones much more efficient. So from that aspect of it, a lot of people are involved in this, and it goes pretty high level, which is pretty neat too. So there's a lot of exposure. And so the ultimate say on whatever the evaluation provides or recommends is the executive vice president, who runs the entire support operation for the company. And so along with him, my boss, who's the director of education, would kind of work with me to translate the minute details that I'll provide him from the recommendation into that high level overview that will sway the executive vice president in one way or another. So other than that, the actual co-workers that I would use that are essential to this evaluation are the education manager and the support managers. And so they're the heaviest users. And so they have the most experience with how the system works currently, and what they would want from another system to run more efficiently. So basically, with that and with those stakeholders, then the purpose of the evaluation is to answer all these different questions that are segmented to each stakeholder. And so ultimately, all these questions can be consolidated down into 3 basic ones that I found. And so ultimately, is a new LMS going to be a significant benefit to the company? That's what we want to know through this. Do we need a new one, or is it worth paying for an upgrade? And so now is the time to evaluate that, and it's an essential question to answer, and the main question. So from that aspect, then the other big one has to do with training and the support training, since this has such a big role with quality management and with the integrity of the data being correlated with the FDA and the regulatory agencies. We want to see if our process, if our training process can be streamlined in any way. And so right now, that's going to come with the data analysis part of whatever's in the system right now and finding trends and everything like that. And then if we were to incorporate a new system or make this current one more efficient, how can we streamline that process and make sure it's really accurate? And so again, that's what leads to that third one, is when you have all that data, is it accurate? And so can it consistently be accurate? And most importantly, can it hold up against an FDA audit or something like that? So these are really, really important high-level questions, and these are the main purpose of this evaluation. And basically, to answer those questions, I would employ numerous evaluation measures. So basically, there's 5 different measures and tools that I would use. And obviously, the most effective one is just meetings. And so we would have to have tons of meetings and ask tons of questions and really pay attention to a lot of different points that are brought up, and kind of just keep a running checklist by myself or just with the managers in general. So that's one of the most basic collection measures. But on top of that, though, I want to have analytical data that supports the recommendation. And so by that, that's where we'll really employ different evaluation rubrics that I actually found online from. It's nice because every major university does a complete evaluation that's very thorough whenever they decide to use or transition to a different LMS. And there's tons of resources that are available, and it's all analytical. So I would follow the university model with this, which is perfect for what we need. And so on top of the rubrics, I would have learner administrative surveys that are automated with the current LMS. And so whenever someone would answer a question, they would answer or do a training, they would get a survey and answer it, and you collect data that way. And so the other part is just data analysis, and then just focus groups and everything like that. And so as far as the timeline is concerned, it's a pretty good timeline. So we have a 2-year from this, about a year and a half to figure out what we need to do the analysis, and then eventually we're going to get to the point to answer that main question, which is it worth upgrading what we have, or do we need something new? And so that's what we're going to get to by January 2016. And then based off of that next phase, then that's going to be another program evaluation. And so that's a different topic, but this will put us in a pretty good position. And so, and the budget for this is really kind of, it definitely is a draft. And a lot of it is intuitive, I guess, because everyone's salaries are incorporated into it, and there's not really that much, in direct costs other than just travel back and forth to Germany. But this is just an estimation of what it could cost the company, just so they have a pretty good idea of what to do. So that's about it. That's the evaluation plan. It's essential to the company. We really need it, and I hope this presentation really portrayed the importance of this system. So thanks for listening, and see you all soon.